Welcome back to an episode of Let's Build Twitter. We're on episode 108. If you guys are interested in getting access to the private GitHub repository or knowing when I'm going to go live, check out the description below. I got information about both of those, so let's hop into what we're working on today. This episode is going to be a little bit longer because I'm now making an effort to complete an entire component per episode, as long as the episode in question doesn't get too long, obviously. Today we work on the drop-down menu to select who can view our post by extracting the old div from the PostCreator component and building a new component with the custom drop-down modal to allow us to create our selection. As always, I'm Ethan Encoder, and let's hop straight into development. Now that we're able to actually send post over to our backend, we need to make it so that these drop-down modals actually work and we can change who can reply and also who can view our post. So let's go ahead and hop back into our code. The first thing that we need to do is we need to go into our SVGs, unfortunately, and set up a new SVG. So this is going to come from Twitter. So actually, what I'll go ahead and do is I'll open up Twitter real quick, and enable to get what we need, we have to click on this, go into here, and then we need this circle icon. So I'm gonna go ahead and inspect and grab this SVG right here and copy. This will be in the description if you guys do want to just grab it from there. So now what we want to go ahead and do is go into our components, our SVGs. I'm going to make a new file, and this is going to be called circles baby svg.tsx, and we're going to go ahead and just import our SVG props from, actually not from React, from our global interfaces. And we're going to export default function, and this is circles SVG. This does need to take in props, and this is an SVG props, like so. And then we can go ahead and return and paste in our SVG. We'll get rid of this class, which goes all the way to here. Clean this up just a little bit to make it look a little bit prettier. Path, go here. G goes here. SVG goes there. Right, now we need to set the height equal to props.height. We need to set the width. Actually, let's make sure height is spelled right. We need to set the width. Width is equal to props.width. Then we need to say on our path, we're going to have a fill equal to, and we're going to say props.color, question mark. If there's a color, we'll say props.color. Otherwise, we will go with just black. So there is our circle. Now we need to also update a couple of things. Firstly, we need to go into our global interfaces, and on our post, we can also have follow on the reply restriction. I think this is where I messed up at. It's supposed to be follow, circle, and whatever, because if you guys remember last episode, I had a little bit of an issue, but we need to also put follow there. We also need to update the reply restriction on Java. So we come back into Java, go into our models and reply restriction, and we need to add circle. So yes, I typoed something inside the last episode, but I fixed it. So now we have for everyone follow mention circle. I'm going to go ahead and fix it like this because this is the order that I have it in there, just to be safe. Then we also need to update the Redux slice state. Come back into our Redux slice state and go into Redux slices post slice. Now our reply restriction for this body can be everyone, circle, mention, or follow. I think I just copied something in wrong basically, but it is what it is. And I think that is everything that we need to fix here. And if there's something broken, I'll try to debug it. So that's good to go. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make a new folder inside of our features. So I'm going to close out of this, and inside of our feed components, I'm going to make a new folder, and this is going to be called feed post audience dropdown. And I'll make a new file and call it feed post audience dropdown.tsx. And the idea here is that we're going to take the code out of our feed post creator for the dropdown and put it in here. I'll go ahead and make the feed post audience dropdown.css, and I'm going to go ahead and open up our feed post creator as well, just so we can see what's going on here. So inside of our feed post creator, so I believe it's this guy that says everyone. We want to take this and we're going to go ahead and remove it, and we'll fix it later. I'm going to go ahead and import React and use state. from React. And then I'll also need our dispatch. So import use dispatch and use selector from React Redux. If I could type, that'd be cool. And then we'll also need our app state. So root state and app dispatch. And we'll need a couple other things, but we'll figure that out as we go. Export const feed post audience drop down react react.function component is equal to this, and we'll return, and we'll paste in our return for now. Now obviously active is broken. Let's go ahead and deal with active. So we'll go ahead and say const and active and set active is equal to use state of a boolean, and we will go ahead and say false for now, right? We need to go ahead and import expand more from material UI, and there we go. So now if we want to, we can come back into our feed post creator. All we have to do, I believe, is just do one of these and feed post audience drop down. We're going to do a little bit more stuff to this, because instead of active being true here, we're not going to hide it. So for now, what I'm going to go and do, I'm going to keep the feed post creator audience for now, and we're going to refactor a little bit. So we don't want to hide it. We want to keep it there. Otherwise, I'll do this and I'll just put this as true for now. Just kind of getting it to the point where we were before. There we go. Because active is going to be slightly different in a second. So we're going to go ahead and say const state is equal to use selector, and we'll have our state, which is a root state. And I thought that I imported that. I did. It's just complaining for no reason. And then we're just going to return the state in this instance. And then const dispatch is a app dispatch. Whoops, app dispatch. Why are you being like this? I don't know why VS Code's being dumb. It's equal to use dispatch. There we go. So we're gonna dispatch some updates and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and get just the primary setup done first, and then we'll go through and kind of figure stuff out. So we also need a selection. So const selection and set selection. So this is gonna be which one it is. So whether it's circle or everybody's gonna be one of those two. This will be a string, and we're gonna start it out. Whoops, string. And it's gonna start out as everyone. Cool. And there we go. So now instead of this, what we're going to have is we're going to say selection question mark. And if it's everyone, and I need to say selection triple equal to everyone question mark, then we're going to have our feed dash post dash creator dash audience. And then we're also going to have everyone, because it has a slightly different color if you choose everyone, like a type. And then otherwise, we'll also have feed post creator audience. Let's go ahead and grab this, except this one will be circle. We'll have an on click on this. On click is equal to, and for the time being, we're just going to have a function like that, and we'll deal with the on click later. So now, let's go ahead and set up our expand more. Now, what we need to show inside of the dropdown, instead of this, we're going to say selection. And I guess, I don't know what I was thinking whenever I had this code, because we can just say selection. So again, it still looks the same. Nothing has changed so far. That's good. And then we can also keep our expand more here. That is absolutely fine. We can definitely do one of these though. So let's just kind of clean this up a little bit. And now below here, we're going to have the actual modal that does the work. If I could type div class name equal to, and this is going to be feed dash post dash creator. This is going to be dash audience dash drop down, and from here we're going to have a style equal to, and then we're going to have display question mark, display colon active question mark. It'll be block. Otherwise, it'll be none. All right. And then from here, we need to go ahead and make that div. And this is the actual like drop down mechanism that's going to kind of be like a modal. It shouldn't be popping up now because it's not active. And whenever it is active, so actually active is set to true. There's just nothing inside of it right now. So that's why. Cool. So now we'll have our H2 or AH2 with a class name equal to, and this will be feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash title. And this will say choose audience. And let's see if we can start seeing what's going on. As you can see, it's kind of jank right now, but we'll fix it with some CSS. And then we're going to have a div with an ID equal to everyone and a class name equal to feed dash post creator dash, and then this is going to be audience dash drop down dash choice. This again, whoops, let me spell choice right, choice. And this is going to have an on click on it as well, on click. And for now, we're just going to set up nothing. Inside this div, we're going to have another div. So div class name equal to feed dash post dash creator dash audience audience dash drop down dash choice dash left. So this is going to be the left side where we're going to have another div class name equal to feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice dash everyone dash BG. And then inside here, we're going to have a globe SVG, and the height will equal 220, width will equal 220, and color will equal to FFFF, so pound FFF, so white. And then we're going to have a P class name equal to feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice dash text. And inside here, we'll say everyone. So this one's the choice for everyone. And then outside of this div, the choice left div, we're going to have a selection equal to everyone question mark. And then we're going to have a check mark check, and this is going to come from material UI. We're going to have SX equal to, and this is going to get wild. So I'm probably going to break something here. I think it wants to go there. Okay, cool. Oh, it's because of this. So let's just have nothing. And SX will be color colon, and this is going to be pound 1 D A1 F2. And then we're going to have font size is going to be 18 px, and we need a comma here. Okay, so now that is one of them. So now I'm just going to copy this div and make sure we get the entire div. Cool, we're going to copy this div and hopefully I don't goof it too bad. Now this is going to be circle. And this is fine. The choice drop down is fine. Our div choice left is also fine. Now this is going to be a circle BG, and instead of globe SVG, this is going to be circles SVG, and that is fine. And then obviously the div is going to be, this P is going to be slightly different. So instead of this P, we're going to have a div class name equal to feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash choice. If I could type, that'd be cool. Dash circle dash group because I had to make it a little bit more complicated. Now we will have this one again. And instead of the everyone, this is going to say circle. And then what we need is we're going to go ahead and have another div class name equal to feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash circle dash group. And inside here, we're going to have a P, the class name equal to, and this is going to have class, or whoops, feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash circle dash info dash amount. Now this is going to be something we have to come back and basically refactor so it doesn't just say 0 all the time whenever we figure out how to set up circles. This one's going to be people, and this will say people, and then we'll have another p tag here, copy, paste, and this one will say edit. All right, and then now we're going to say if circle, and we're going to have check, and the color is going to be the same. So I think this should be good. If we open this, it's going to look absolutely horrible. You can't even tell what's going on right now. But that's fine. We're going to set up the CSS and everything. And there's a good chance that I probably borked something inside the CSS. So I'll have to deal with that as well. Let's go ahead and do some of the logic. So const handle click is equal to, and let's do this. If I could actually write proper JavaScript. So this will just say set active equal to not active. So that one is pretty simple. And then we're going to have const handle change selection equal to e::react.mouse event. And this is going to be an HTML div element like so. And then this is going to be set selection e::current target .id. So we'll go ahead and set the selection of that. And then we'll also dispatch. We're going to dispatch update. Whoops. Update current post. And inside, we're going to go ahead and say name :audience because it updates both of them for some reason. That's great, right? Value will e::current target .id .to uppercase. So we're going to say to uppercase like that. And then we'll also dispatch. And we're going to dispatch another one, update current post. And inside this one, name will be reply restriction. And the value will be the same. e::current target .id .to uppercase. Like that. So now we'll update the post with this information. So now on our handle click, we're going to go ahead and call handle click. And then on the on click for this one, for this selection, we'll go ahead and say handle change selection. We'll do the same thing here, handle change selection. So now whenever we click on one of these two, it should change collections or selections. It's still going to be kind of borked. So now this is the fun part in figuring out how badly I screwed up all of the naming. And also let's make sure that we are importing the CSS before I go crazy. Imports // and this is feed post creator audience dropdown .css. All right, so now in here, and I think best case scenario, I go ahead and copy paste this. That way, if there is a typo, at least it's consistent between my CSS and my file. So we'll display flex. We're going to justify content center. We'll align items in the center, and then our width be 108. This comes from Twitter. Our height will be 24 px. Again, this comes straight from Twitter. Our font size will be 14 px. Inside, it's going to have a padding of about 2 px around it. It's going to have a border radius of 50 px. And the position of this will be relative. Then we will have our .everyone. .everyone is going to basically make the text inside blue. So color will be 1D, A1, F2, and then the border will be a little bit different. So 1 pixel solid, and this one's going to be AA, B8, D2. All right, and then after that we have circle. Again, slightly different color. So dot circle, and here the color will be RGB. I don't know why I chose RGB here, but 186, 0, 186, and 124. Who knows why I do design decisions the way that I do. And border will be 1 px solid and RGB, and this one is going to be the same color. So I don't know why everyone is a different color, but it is what it is. Who knows what Twitter is thinking. I literally yoinked this off Twitter. So that is circle. Okay, let's keep moving down through. So now we have our feed post creator audience drop down. Well, actually I lied. We have a dot everyone colon hover, and this just has a background color of RGBA 29 161 242.1, and then it has a border, or a cursor, a pointer. We also have a dot circle colon hover, and again this one have a background color of this color again. So I'm just gonna grab this color here. So background color of this with an A, and then it's going to be 0.1 or 0.05 because color is a little bit different. And then this one also has a cursor, a pointer. So there is our hover for both of those. And then now we can start playing around with our other stuff. Now we can do the feed post creator drop down. So this is the actual thing that you'll be able to see whenever you click on the drop down modal. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll say our width is going to be 260 px. Yoink that off Twitter. Height will be 192 px. Also yoinked off of Twitter. All right, and then our position will be absolute on the screen, and it will be top 32 px and left 50%. And then what we're going to have is transform, and this is going to have a translate, and we're going to say negative 50% and 0. And then we're going to have a background color of white, just to make sure it's not see-through. We're going to have a display of flex, a flex direction of column, a justify content of center, and align items of start, and then a box shadow of 100, 100, 111, 0.2, and then this is going to be 0 px, 7 px, 29 px, and 0 px. So that's just kind of like a nice little box shadow. These are not supposed to have commas though, so hopefully this works. It looks like it's fine, so we'll see what happens, and then we'll have a z or border radius first of 16 px, and finally a z-index of 15. Now this is the part where everything is probably going to break. Now you can see it doesn't look great because the whole styling's not done, but you can click it on and off, and we're getting there. As you can tell from my outfit change, my messed up hair, I didn't quite have enough time to finish up this, but we're almost done. We just have a little bit more CSS to do. So we're going to start out with a feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash title. And in here, we're going to have the color of black. If I could type, we're going to have a margin of 0. We're going to have a font size of 20px. Maybe. We're going to have a margin top of 12px. We're going to have a margin left of 12px. And we're going to have a margin bottom of 12px. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more CSS here all at once, and then I'll show you guys kind of what we're looking like. Then we're going to have a dot feed dash post dash creator, maybe, creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice. So these are the individual choices that we have. Width is going to be 100%. Our height is going to be fit content. We're going to have a display of flex. I might want to spell display right. I'm sure we're going to have to debug some things here because this is a pretty big CSS file. We're going to justify content. This is going to be space between. We're going to have align items. This is going to be center. This is also going to have a color of black. We're going to have a padding on the top of 8px. We're going to have a padding on the bottom of 8px, and we could do the shorthand for this, but I always forget what the shorthand is. Padding on the left of 12px and padding on the right of 12px. Again, we could probably or should probably use a shorthand for that, but it is what it is. Then we're gonna have feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice colon hover. And here we're gonna have a background color of F8, 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 like so. So save that, and we should see some changes at this point. Now keep in mind, it's not gonna be perfect. As you can see, this is now black, these are now black, and it's starting to kind of come together a little bit better now. So now what we need to do is we need to set up the actual components inside of those choices. So dot feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice dash left. And this is going to have a display of flex, going to have a justify content of flex start, and it's going to have an align items of center. Then we're going to have dot feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice dash everyone dash bg, because of course I made this slightly different. So width is going to be 40px, height will be 40px, our border radius will be 100%, it's going to be a circle, background color is going to be 1D, A1, F2, so Twitter blue. We're going to have display of flex so we can center it, so justify content, center, align items, center, and we're going to have a margin right of 12px. And then we're going to do dot feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice dash circle dash bg. Again, this will be width 40px, a height of 40px, is going to have a border radius of 100%. It's going to have a background color of RGB, and this is going to be 0, 186, 124. So it's going to be that green color. Display will be flex. Our justify content will be center. Our line items will be center, and our margin right be 12px. There we go. And then let's go ahead and clean up some of the text and stuff like that. So now we're going to feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash dropdown dash text or choice dash text. And this is going to be a margin of 0, a padding of 0, and then we're going to have a font size of 15px and a font weight of 800. That's just going to kind of put some text stuff up. Feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash choice dash circle dash group. So this one is kind of like the last little bit. So this is going to have a margin of 0 and a padding of 0. Then we're going to have dot feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash circle dash info. And then this one will have a width of 150px. We're going to have a height of fit content. We'll have a display of flex. We're going to justify content to the flex start. And we're going to align items center. And then this is kind of where some of the extra information about the circle stuff comes in. So now we're going to have dot feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down dash circle dash info dash amount. This one will again have a margin 0 because our global CSS apparently doesn't work. Font weight of 600, color black, then a margin right of 2px. Then we'll have a dot feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash drop down, and then this one is going to be dash circle dash info or circle dash people. And here we'll once again have a margin of 0. We're going to have a font weight of 400, and the color is going to be slightly different. Color is going to be 657786 dot feed dash post dash creator dash audience dash info dash edit. I forgot circle, so audience drop down dash circle dash info dash edit. And I'm sure that I probably typoed something in here. Margin will be 0. Padding will be 2px and px. Display will be flex. Our justify content will be center. We will have an align items center. The color will be black. Our font weight will be 800, and our text decoration will be underlined. Save, and then we just need to grab this one more time and then do our hover effect, which will just be background color of RGBA 0.15, and then a border radius. Border radius is going to be 10px. Now I'm sure that I typoed a bunch of stuff, so keep that in mind. But if we open up our footer, we should drop down and everything is broken. So let me go ahead and take a look at what I missed. So one bug I found is that this is supposed to be wrapped within this circle BG choice right here. Let's go ahead and fix this up. This is supposed to be wrapped like this, and then this is supposed to be out like this. We'll see if that fixes anything. Seems like this is still legal because it's all still inside the left, and I'm guessing, let me double check this one as well. So this one is also probably messed up. So let's move this one down as well. That way those kind of get put apart. Also, this was typoed. This one should be feed PostCreator audience dropdown choice circle group. This div should have a feed PostCreator circle info on it. And then the rest of these should be proper and correct, but let me double check. That one was typoed, and then also this should be edit instead of people. All right, and then the last select should be fine. Fingers crossed I don't have to do any more debugging. And there we have it. We have our actual element. Looks like it might be missing a little bit of drop shadow, so I might need to look into that. But this is how it's supposed to work. This is changing the actual code on the inside. And let me double check the shadow on this. Let's try this once again. Box shadow. I might have forgot the RGBA, honestly. And there we go. Now we got a box shadow. It goes right below. We can click on this. And there we have it. Now we can choose who is able to actually view our posts. Then we'll move forward in the next episode and figure out how we can get the bottom drop down working. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially with that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.